Welcome. All right, cool. It's 1 o'clock. We're going to get started. Welcome to the Quickstart webinar. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the call. We've got 60 people on the call and rising. Noah Harris here. I'm hosting the webinar. I also have my friend Nick Lucas, part of the PMC team, in the chat box to help you guys answer questions and help you get rock and roll and leveraging the Private Money Club platform as best as you possibly can. So with that being said, let me pull up my slides. We'll dive into it. This is a weekly call. So every single Thursday, for free, people can hop on and practice best practices and fundamentals for borrowing and lending private money for real estate deals. That's what this is all about. So if you're in the right place, you feel like you're in the right place, say, oh yeah. Say, oh yeah. All right, cool. Here we go. Let me pull this up, get my slides going. You know, and lots of times, it's so funny. I was talking to someone this week and they're like so fascinated by the fact that we use people to fund our real estate deals, and they're like, you know, where are these lenders? Where are these lenders? Where are these good borrowers? And I'm telling you, they're here. They're on this call. They're in the Private Money Club. I always like to get a taste and for those of you who are on the call for the first time, how many of you are here for the first time? Just say first timer in the chat box, right? Say first timer. Let us know if this is your first time here on this Quick Start webinar. Awesome. Wow. Okay, cool. Wow. Lots of you guys. All right, cool. Lots of you. All right. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. You're in the right place, right? If you've been on this call before, say, I'm back. I'm back, baby. We've done this call 24 times. We've only missed 1 week. That was the 4th of July, 24, almost nearly 25 consecutive weeks. And this is all about consistency. It's all about practice. It's all about getting good and being prepared and meeting great people to have conversations to build these win-win relationships. So if you're on the call and you're like, where are these lenders? Where's Private Money Club? Let me ask you. So if you are on this webinar right now and your goal is to put money to work, make a nice return, and have that money secured by an asset like a piece of real estate that's worth much more than the amount of money that you're lending, that's you. You're a lender. So type lender in the chat box. So if you're a lender, type lender in the chat box. I love this because whenever someone's like, I don't know where the lenders are, watch, there's going to be 50 people that just pop up and say lender, 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 lender. Right? Beautiful. Beautiful. Love it. Love it. Thank you for the participation. You guys are doing awesome. That's awesome. All right, cool. Yeah, the list goes on and on. Lender, lender, lender. Now, if you're a real estate investor and you want to put the money to work, or someone else's money to work, or and you don't want to have to go to a bank, right? And you just believe in the ability to create a win-win solution, helping people put their money to work. You're funding real estate deals. If you're a borrower, type borrower in the chat box. Where are my borrowers at? All right, cool. Borrower, 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 borrower. And you'll see it's kind of like a 50-50 split here, right? So right now we've got 70 people, 71 climbing on the call, and it's kind of like a 50-50 split. Some people do both, right? How many of you are double dipping? I saw Christine Stokes' name pop up. She said, I'm doing both. So what you'll find is lots of people, at least the ones that I've come across, if they're a real estate investor, maybe they're using their retirement accounts to lend, right? Instead of funding their own deals with retirement accounts that have a lot of rules and regulations to do so, they're lending on other people's deals and then borrowing to fund their deals, right? So yeah, double dipping. I love it, right? Ask people who are lenders but have not yet lent. Oh, that's a good question. I love it. All right, Michael, here, great question. How many of you are lenders but are still waiting to dip your toe in the water? You haven't lent your money out yet. Maybe you're just learning. Maybe you're figuring it out. Is that anybody? Cool. I love this. This is a great question. And still learning, right? Still learning. So I'm so glad Anne's raising her hand. I love this because one of the reasons Chris asked me, Chris Naugle and Stephen Nagy asked me to do these webinars is to educate, right? And so we're going to get into that. Stay plugged into these weekly calls. I think lots of times if we, everyone loves the idea of becoming a private money lender. They love the idea of making high interest, but why hasn't someone done it yet? They don't know how. Or maybe they're unsure of the questions to ask, or they're unsure of the documents that are required and things like that, right? So we try to eliminate some of the fear by providing education. and resources and help and support. All right, so let's get into it, guys. You're in the right place. This is going to be a fun class. Anytime I teach, I always share disclaimers. This business is hard. Real estate is difficult if you're on the borrowing side, right? There's a lot to it. It's not as easy as the TV shows make it seem to be. And from a lending perspective, yes, it's great to put your money to work at a double-digit rate of return, but there's also a lot that could go wrong with the deals and with the transactions, right? So that's why we're here. That's why we're learning how to educate ourselves and learning as much as we can. One of the big things that I'll tell you, so I teach a class called the Accelerator Program for Private Money Club. We have one coming up that's starting in August. And the very first thing that we talk about in that class is surrounding yourself with people who are licensed business professionals to help ensure that you're doing things the right way. As a real estate investor, what does that mean? Before I go out and start having conversations with private money lenders, I want to find a great attorney that's going to be doing my title work, helping draft my documents, writing mortgages and promissory notes. I want to find a real estate agent who's the top 1% that can help me analyze deals, that can help make sure that my houses get sold. I want to find a property management company if I'm going to be keeping my properties as rental properties. I want to find contractors that are licensed and insured, right? And the list goes on and on and on. So if a person really wants to get great at this business, insulate yourself, not incubate, but insulate yourself with the best of the best, right? Surround yourself with the best, right? Make your life easy, okay? So, and I'm also going to share with you case studies. I might share with you a case study here today, and just know that each piece of real estate's unique. Each deal is unique. So if I share with you how something went for me or one of our students or, one of the members in Private Money Club, it's not going to go exactly the same as it does for them, for everybody else, right? You guys know that. But that's why we're here. We're educating ourselves and we're making sure we're doing things the right way, okay? So just keep that in mind. I got started teaching private money with Private Money Club because I saw people that were not doing it the right way and they were losing. And I was a big believer, I'm a big advocate of creating these win-win situations. So I was like, you know what? If I can help one person make a better decision, it's time well spent. So let's get into it, guys. Welcome to the PMC Quickstart webinar. Let's go. Okay, cool. I got my friend Nick Lucas in the chat. I'll be introducing you to him here in a minute. This is week 24 of doing the Quickstart webinar. So I always like to put up a picture or a quote, that I feel might be a good lesson for this week. And here it is, number 24. Kobe Bryant said, "Hey, I've practiced and played so many times. There's nothing to truly be afraid of if you think about it. I've failed before and I've woken up in the next morning and I'm okay." And I thought this was suitable for what we do on a weekly basis, because if you're practicing what we're teaching on these calls, you're practicing your elevator pitch, right? How you truly believe that you're helping people by putting their money to work or helping people by funding real estate deals that might not have otherwise been able to get funded. And you know what to say. You have no problem picking up the phone and having a one-on-one conversation. You have no problem getting on a Zoom call and feeling confident with talking about your business model to a potential private money lender that could fund your deals, right? And these are the things that we practice. But Kobe Bryant put in the work. He put in the practice. And it's interesting, like when we're younger, maybe you had a sport or you practiced the piano or something in your life that was a hobby that you were really good at. You put in the work, you put in the effort, you became a top 1%er in that field. But then as we become adults, sometimes we stop practicing. So every single Thursday on these calls, this is exactly what we do. We practice our elevator pitches. We practice being sharp around the topic of private money lending. So when the opportunity comes, we can crush it, right? And if you fail, it's okay. If you miss a shot, how many of you that have been on this call before have been practicing elevator pitches and maybe trying, like having conversations with people? Has anyone been implementing the things that you're learning on this call? Who's been implementing what you're learning on this call? There's a good chance that it didn't go perfect the first couple times. There's still times where I have conversations with people and I'm like, oh, I could have said that differently. But at the end of the day, it's okay, right? You went out there and you tried, right? You had your list of questions to ask, you asked them, and you go back and you change things, you implement, and we just continue to get better, right? And that's where greatness comes from. So if you're just logging on to the call for the first time, just to introduce yourself or introduce myself, my name is Noah Harris. I'm a real estate investor. I live here in Columbia, South Carolina. I've been asked by Stephen Nagy and Chris Naugle to teach this weekly webinar to help educate people around the topic of private money lending. I also teach a class called the Accelerator Program for the Private Money Club. So for anyone who's interested in really expediting the learning process, that course is available and it starts August 12th. I have a 100% track record with my private money lenders, and that's really the goal for everyone that is on this call, you know, for as far as I'm concerned. Like, I would love to meet you guys at one of these live events or a webinar down the road, and you say, hey, look, so far 100% track record with my borrowers, 100% track record with my lenders. You know, that's really what it's all about. And this is relationship based, right? So Mike Shapiro just said, hey, I'm a newbie, I'm looking to learn and connect. Yeah, absolutely, Mike, you nail on the head. This is relationship-based lending. So yes, when we're looking to lend money, we're going to look at the asset, right? Yes, we're going to look at the asset. Yes, we're going to look at the person, things like this. We're going to do our due diligence, right? But the difference between, in my opinion, the difference between a deal getting funded and a deal not getting funded has a lot to do with the relationship that you're building, right? And the communication process through that. Anyone can post a deal on the Private Money Club platform, but at the end of the day, when someone picks up the phone, how are you building and cultivating that relationship if someone wants to fund it, right? And what does that process look like from the time the deal gets funded to through the renovation process, to the time that's under contract, to the time it gets sold, to the time that the next deal is to be presented, right? So yes, we're looking at the assets. We're going to talk about that here today. We're going to talk a lot about risk today. But remember, this is relationship based. We're all about, and we place a very high value on our lender and borrower relationships, right? So here's the game plan. Every single week we start on time, right at 1 o'clock. We keep it real estate. If you are on this call and you are a real estate investor and you're looking to learn how to borrow private funds for fix and flips, Airbnbs, rental properties, small multifamily, those types of transactions, you're in the right place. If you're on this call and you're looking to learn how to put your money to work in the form of a note and a mortgage, and have it secured by real estate, you're in the right place, right? Welcome out. If you have any questions at all, type your questions in the Q&A section, okay? Type your questions in the Q&A, because then what I'll do is I'll go back, take breaks throughout the next 40 minutes and answer some questions. If you ask a question in the chat, I may miss it because lots of time the chat's just on fire and rolling, right? PMC team is in the chat. I've got my friend Nick Lucas in the chat. Nick, go ahead and say hi to everybody so they know who you are. There are going to be times where you're like, hey, where can I get this link? Where can I check this out? I need some help with something. Can you help me out? And Nick will throw up a link, and that link will have his phone number. And yep, there it is, right? You can just click the link there or give him a call directly and talk to Nick, and he can get you set up with whatever it is that you need. And all experience levels are welcome on this call. All right. So I know we've got people on here who I'm sure have done many real estate deals. Maybe you're looking to do big projects. Welcome. We've got some folks on here, as you can see, are brand new and they're just trying to get into real estate and make a difference and make an impact. So no matter what your experience level, welcome to the party, everyone. Everyone is welcome. We're glad to have you guys. All right. And here's what we're going to cover. Every single week, you know, and anytime you have a coaching interaction with me, I'm usually trying to help you build these 4 pillars, right? So many of you, we asked the question earlier, how many of you are lenders, but you haven't lended money yet? Why is that? Well, one of the things that I've found is that whether you're borrowing or lending, lots of times credibility comes into play. Like if from a borrower's perspective, even if you have experience in real estate, you may, I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong, but you may feel like, man, I don't know if I'm credible enough in the sense that who's going to lend me $500,000? Like it's easy for a person to wrap their mind around going into a bank and asking for a loan, right? It's easy to go to a website that's a hard money lending website, put in your information and ask for a loan, right? We can wrap our heads around that. But for a lot of people, they have a hard time wrapping their minds around going and asking a person for $200,000, a person for 300, 500, $1 million or whatever it is, right? Because they don't have any experience doing it. So one of the things that we work on this call and through our accelerator program is just establishing credibility and giving people the confidence that their past experiences carry over into their current real estate endeavors, right? And a lot of that also has to do with the clarity, like what documents do we use, right? How do I know what questions to even ask about the real estate deal? So for many folks that are lenders, you are not alone. If you are a lender or want to be a lender, but maybe you come from a different industry where you're a doctor, you're an accountant, you're a nurse, you're a police officer, a firefighter, you're a teacher, right? You're not a real estate person, but you love the idea and you've been educating yourself around how to make money lending funds, right? You just need some confidence and some clarity around what questions to ask to somebody that's flipping a house. Am I right on this? Am I right? Are you guys feeling this? Right? So if we work on these things, the confidence comes, and this is a tremendous community, okay? I love to see who is a part of the community already with Private Money Club. If you are currently a member of Private Money Club, just type PMC in the chat box. If you're currently a member of Private Money Club, type PMC in the chat box. Let's see who's a member of PMC. All right, cool. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Oh, I love it. Okay, you guys are awesome. All right, cool. And if you're on here and you're like, man, I'm not a member yet, like what's going on? Here's what's cool. And just to put an emphasis on the value of this community, for years prior to the Private Money Club, like if I wanted to go and find a private money lender, I usually had to go to like my local real estate investor club, had to talk to family, friends, people in my circle, and I had to educate people on what private money lending was. So not only did I have to get them to be excited about lending to me, I had to teach them what private money lending was. And so there was a real uphill battle. But with the community here, what's cool, you guys, you see all the PMC members, it's a community already where people understand the process, they understand what it is, they have a general idea at a bare minimum of what private money lending is, so they're open to the ideas, right? So the idea of an elevator pitch of having to say, hey, did you know you could do this? We don't really have to hit that as hard or explain that as much because people understand the process, right? So now we can just present deals, talk about opportunities, which is super cool. By the way, anyone have an opportunity right now, feel free, type it in the chat. Now I look at this as a networking event. You're in a room right now where there's going to be 100 people that not only watch live, but watch the videos and all of the stuff afterwards. Like, you should be taking advantage of these cool opportunities. So every single Thursday we practice, we work out. We work our muscles, our Private Money Club muscles, and we practice fundamentals, best practices. We do some weekly lessons, and one of the things that I love about this webinar here is that we make moves. All right, so this is Todd said, hey, how do you find opportunities? Great question, Todd. I'm going to actually pull up on my screen here. On the next slide, I'll give you a little tour of the platform. I can kind of share with you what this looks like. But one of the things that we encourage on these calls here is taking action. And this one of the things I told Chris Naugle and Steven when I decided to do this weekly webinar, it's like, I don't want to just be like screaming at the camera and people are eating their turkey sandwiches and then they go on about their life and they forget everything that we talked about. Like, the goal here is to build upon everything that we teach and roll it over into next week. So every single call, I like to give you action steps up front. You don't have to wait to the end to get an action step. Some of you have really busy lives. Maybe you're watching during your lunch hour at work. Here's what I'm encouraging each and every one of you to do. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 different bullet points up there. 8 different types of opportunities for you to keep the momentum going, to keep the ball rolling within Private Money Club. I'm asking you to pick one. Pick one that you haven't done yet. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Today we're going to practice some fundamentals. We do this every single week, right? If you're brand new to the call, practice the fundamentals, right? If you've been practicing the fundamentals, you've been hopping on, I would highly recommend clicking the link with Andrew, with Nick Lucas, and I would schedule a time to talk with a Private Money Club team member about next steps and how to take action and what classes you should be enrolling in, and do you have a premier membership with Private Money Club? These are important questions. I would, at a bare minimum, attend next week's call. Keep the momentum going, right? So pick one or two bullet points here, all right? Create your private money club profile. So a private money club allows people to create a free profile. So this can get you access. You can post on the forum. You can fill things out. There's some limited things that you're able to do, and you're not able to message as well and things like that to people. But you can poke around. At a minimum, create a free PMC profile. All right, like everyone on this call, that should be a no-brainer if you're serious about this business, right? And then at some point when you're ready, you're like, okay, you know what? This makes sense. Leapfrog and join with a premier membership. It's totally worth it. All right. Nick can help you out with that. If you are looking to expedite the process and you want to learn this stuff as quickly as possible, we have an accelerator course that I teach. It starts August 12th. My wife actually teaches a class on how to invest in mobile homes and also how to lend on mobile home deals, which is really cool. Some of our most profitable transactions this year are going to come from flipping manufactured houses. Has anyone else on here flipped a manufactured house? Type it in the chat box, let me know, or a mobile home. And one of the things that we love about this mobile home, and this is a good lesson for you guys, because I know some of you on here, you might just be starting out your IBC policies. You might be just starting out with this infinite banking concept, or maybe you don't necessarily have the funds or necessarily want to lend $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 or more on your first deal. But maybe you have an infinite banking policy set up and you're trying to be your own bank and you're looking for smaller price points. There's a lot of deals that are out there, and manufactured and mobile homes could be great lending opportunities for you guys looking to be your own bank. And so that's one of the reasons why we teach mobile homes through the Mobile Home Take Action Challenge. There's also a virtual event coming up August 23rd and 24th and 25th. There's a bus tour in there. They got all kinds of cool stuff if you want some boots on the ground. And then I cannot wait, you guys. This is right in our backyard. Those of you who are here in Carolinas, I just saw Chris said, yeah, flipping mobile homes in North Carolina. Christine, I hope that you will be at the Money Tank event at the Charlotte Motor Speedway November 8th and 9th. So that's all. Those are all cool stuff coming up. And I recommend the live events. I'm not going to harp on this too. We're going to get into the fundamentals here coming up. But here's the deal with the live events. If I meet you in person, like I'm just speaking figuratively, if I meet someone in person and then I see their deal on Private Money Club, I'm going to be 1,000% more confident that person is who they say they are. And it's just going to be a much better relationship, right? So it's one thing to meet people online and on the platform, but to get face to face with folks, you just can't beat it. You just can't beat it. All right, cool. Yeah, so that's the stuff we got going on. Make a move, guys. I'll show this slide at the end just in case you need a reminder, right? All right, Fern's going to be at the Money Tank too. Love it, love it, love it. All right, I've been sharing this slide for 3 weeks in a row. This is an important slide, especially if you're on for the first time. And this is a great slide for helping overcome objections. This is a slide, I took a screenshot from one of the classes in the Private Money Club platform. So in the Private Money Club platform, there's a borrower's certification course and a lender's certification course. And this slide actually appears in both. And they're cool courses because if you're like, hey, I have no idea about this stuff, I don't even know where to start, that's a great little class to take to learn about the business so you have a foundation to your education. But in this slide, it dissects different types of lenders. And this is really important because as a borrower, you're going to start having conversations with people, and if they're not in Private Money Club, they might ask, well, I'm confused, Noah, why do you want to use me? Like, why use a person? Like, can't you just go to a regular bank? Like, can't you just go to a credit union or a Wells Fargo? Like, why are you going to come to me? Or they might say, hey, why don't you just use hard money? Or I've heard of something called hard money lenders. Why don't you use a hard money lender? Why are you coming to me? And those are important conversations to have with people, because once we can provide clarity and understanding around why we like to use people as opposed to banks or funds, then the light bulbs start to go off and people have an understanding and they're open to working with us more, which is pretty cool, right? So if I went to a traditional bank like a Wells Fargo or Bank of America and I wanted a mortgage. Sure, the interest rates are going to be lower. It might be broken up over 20, 30 years, 15-year terms, things like that with your traditional type of mortgage. But and yes, the background checks are thorough. There's a slower approval process, all these things. Here's the deal. If I'm a real estate investor, you guys have seen the signs, right? We buy houses fast, cash, we close quickly, things like this. Number one is speed. So if I'm a real estate investor and I'm making offers on properties, this is the same exact conversation I would have with someone that was interested in lending to me but wanted to know why I use people and not a traditional bank. Traditional banks will take much longer if they would even give you the funds. Right? Most traditional banks aren't going to want to lend money on a house that, has a major foundation issue or has a leaky roof or has boarded up windows, right? They're going to run the other direction. They don't want to take on opportunities like that, right? The other is speed. So even if they could, there's still going to be a lengthy process, approval process, and timelines that they're going to have to make sure that they follow, right? And that's just how they do things. Whereas with a person, I can present the opportunity, present the deal, show them the numbers, show them all the facts, lay everything out for them, and they can make a good decision like that. As a real estate investor, that allows us to be competitive in a very competitive market. So if I'm making an offer on a property and there's 10 other people that are making offers on that same property, if I can tell the property owner, the seller, hey, look, I can close in less than 2 weeks. I don't have to wait on a traditional bank. I don't have to, go through a lengthy process. If closing quickly is important to you, I'm your guy. I'm your buyer, right? And private money lenders allow us to do that. On the flip side of that, yes, we can use hard money lenders, but at the end of the day, lots of times the hard money lending companies are going to be very, very expensive. And to prove the point, all I have to do is just share case studies and examples of what it might look like and how working with a hard money lender is going to make my life a little bit more difficult, a little bit more costly than it would be just working with a private individual. So with hard money lending, and I'm a big believer in hard money lending here as well, if you don't have private money lenders set up yet. So if you're at the point of your real estate investing career and you're just getting started and you don't have these relationships set up yet, start with hard money lending. But don't let that be the end all be all. Get in private money club, have conversations with people, build up your relationships, build up your connections, right? And understand who has what they're comfortable with, what types of deals they want to do. And then when the time comes, you just leapfrog, you jump ship, right? You say it's really great when you can say thanks, but no thanks to hard money, right? That's a beautiful place to be, beautiful destination. Okay, so we might pay a little bit more than the traditional banks, but I'm paying less than my hard money lending banks. I'm going to have a little bit more flexibility. The cost might be a little bit more than traditional, but I'm coming in under hard money. And again, all of this is negotiable, but I hope this provides some clarity here as to the benefits of working with a person as opposed to working with a fund or with a traditional bank, right? Any questions so far? I'm gonna check the Q&A, and then I'm gonna actually pull up my screen and share with you some resources. I feel like I've been talking a lot. Let me take a little break. I had the Death Wish coffee. Anybody ever heard of Death Wish coffee? Death Wish coffee today, right before we got on the call. I think it's working. Hopefully not too good. I do not, Victor asked, do I teach syndication? I do not teach syndication. Traditional banks, lower interest rates. I'm confused. I thought the whole idea was here to be able to offer a lower interest to borrowers when compared to what the banks are offering. Well, I would say as a private, are you speaking from a borrower's perspective? From a borrower's perspective, offering a higher rate, right, than what someone is earning in a savings account, right, Robert? I think I just had a different hat on. I had my lender hat on or borrower hat on, right? And this is a great question. Noah, how do you figure out what interest rates to pay someone, right? So if I'm the real estate investor, how do I figure out what interest rates I'm willing to offer to my lender? Anybody else curious about this? A big part of that, Robert, is getting to know the person that you're working with and getting to know what's important to them. So if I'm talking to someone, I have a good friend. Her name's I'm just going to use her name's Aman, and she came to mind because she texted my wife and I last night, and we've done lots of private money loans with her. She's fantastic. She's out in California, and she's been one of our favorite private money lenders. She is an amazing person. She's not extremely like finance, money, real estate. Like that's not like her main thing, right? And so for her, what's really important to her is that she is making a good interest rate on her money, but she's if she looks at what she's getting in a checking account, CD, you guys know the numbers, right? So for my fix and flips, if I'm able to give her a 10% interest rate, annualized interest rate on her money, man, she's ecstatic because she can go and tell the world that she's making an annualized double-digit rate of return on her money, right? Now, at the same time, if I'm talking with Chris Naugle, right, and I'm like, hey, Chris, I've got a great deal. I know that Chris is like one of the most financially savvy people out there. And in order for Chris to even turn the cheek a little bit to listen to what I got to say, I've got to come in at least 15, 16, 17, 18% or whatever, right? Because I mean, the guy knows exactly. So I like to find out, hey, what are your goals? What would you be happy with? How's your money working for you right now? Right? Tell me a little bit about what you're looking to do. Like, what's your 1-year plan, 5-year plan? Like, what is retirement an idea? Like, do you like the idea of monthly income or just knowing that your money's working for you? And we're really interviewing people. And then what's cool is now I have I have like an Excel spreadsheet where I keep track of all my conversations. And then once I have a deal that I feel like would be a good fit for a specific person, I reach out to that person. Hey, I know it's been a while since I've been able to give you a 14% opportunity, but like this one, I can do it. And I came to you because I know this is what's important to you, and we can give you monthly payments because I know that's important to you. And now what I'm doing is I'm serving it up to them on a silver platter, exactly what they wanted, right? And so that's kind of how I do it. That's what I teach in the accelerator course, is to really find out like how to create these win-win situations, keep track of them, and then be able to provide them when you can to the people that you're having conversations with, right? Which is super cool. I know some of you are like, well, what about the lenders? Like, we want to make 15%. We want to make the 16%. Well, what's cool is, we can teach negotiation stuff from the borrower's perspective and the lender's perspective, and then just let you go at it. But the idea here is constantly keeping people's money to work and keeping your borrower working with you, right? Because the last thing you want is to get your funds back and then not have the next deal lined up, right? And these are things that we teach in the accelerator class, which is cool. All right, I'm gonna pull up my screen here and just share with these. I had a couple of people that were like, hey, like, where do we find these opportunities? What does this look like? So I'm gonna kind of do something a little different. I don't normally do this, but I'm gonna pull up. I got Private Money Club pulled up right now. All right, let's see. You guys, is this a good call so far? You guys enjoying this stuff? Give me a big oh yeah in the chat box if you're still with me. Let me know what's going on. All right, cool. All right, awesome. So I had this pulled up because I was going to talk about one of these articles, but I'll come back to this. So this is Private Money Club, the platform as it sits now. There's a lot of work that's going on right now where the Private Money Club platform is going like next level. It's super cool. I've had some sneak peeks, but this is how it sits now. So just as an idea here, I'm a premium member. So if you go to the dashboard right at the home page here, you'll see there's a forum here, which we'll talk about. You have like the latest and greatest deals. So someone earlier asked, hey, where do we find these opportunities? I would look within Private Money Club for these types of opportunities, which is awesome. Even at your deals down there, there's a few I posted a couple months back. So this is the homepage here, right? Easy breezy. And just to give you an idea, you can click on an opportunity. Like this is William's opportunity here, $65,000 loan opportunity. And he kind of goes over a little bit about the opportunity, the project, and things like that, right? And you can connect with him. He's paying 15%, and this is a first position loan. Pretty cool, right? So you can cruise through these different types of deals. But here, at the end of the day, you still got to interview the people. You got to find out what's going on with them. Not just learn about the project, but learn about the investor. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about here today. This is Steve. He's in my area, actually. Steven, and it's pretty cool. So like you can post the deals, you can post the pictures, right? And if you're interested, you can message him about these types of opportunities. Right now, he's diving into the co-living opportunity, which is I think is going to be pretty big here. And then it also gives you an idea here. You can attach documents to your deals. So you can click on, if I clicked on this, it would pull up a flyer that outlined the deal, something that Steven put together, right? So for those of you who are asking, where do we find the deals? This is one of the best places to find the opportunities. But I would highly recommend building relationships, guys. Be ahead of the curve. You know, I bet you Steve shot this out to people before he even posted here, right? This deal might not even be there anymore, right? So how do you do that? Well, you can search the member directory within Private Money Club. And so if you're a Premier member, get your picture in there, right? It's easy to tell who's Premier and who's just kind of testing the waters, all right? But you can come in and you can search. I'm looking for lenders. I'm looking for people between 100 and 250K. And then boom, you can, information pulls up. So it's really that simple. Now, this is about building relationships though. So like one of the things that we teach in Accelerator class is, what do you say, right? What do you say? On this call here, on our webinar, there's almost 100 people. It's like half and half borrowers, half lenders. If it were that simple, like you guys could just connect and you wouldn't have to ask any questions, right? But we got to ask questions. We got to know what to say, how to say it, have checklists and systems and things like that in place. And that's where the education comes into play. You can click on events and you can see all the different events that we have lined up on our platform here. And then what I wanted to pull up today, is here's the borrower certification. So if you're just logging on for the first time, right, you're brand new and you're like, okay, I want a good foundation, you can come here to the borrower certification course. You can come here to the lender certification course. It takes a couple hours probably. You can set the time limit with how fast the videos talk, which is a little cheat code that I like to do when I'm watching these videos. But you can learn about our accelerator course, the mobile home trainings, and everything that we got going on. Another really cool thing here too is like this learning library. So anytime that Private Money Club does what we call a Money Club Monday, they get recorded, they go into the library where people can come back and watch them over and over and over again. If you have a deal, here's a good bit of advice, okay? If you have a transaction, if you have a property and it needs funding, or if you are a lender and you want to put money to work, I recommend both people take advantage of this, okay? Every single Monday, Stephen Nagy does what's called Money Club Monday, where they do a webinar. Hop on the webinar and you can present your opportunity. And there's usually 100 people or plus on our Money Club Monday webinars tuning in, and then they go on YouTube and then they go into the back office. So in a few weeks time, by the time that presentation has been shared, it's got hundreds of set of eyes on it. And I don't know where else, you guys, a person could take 20 minutes of their time and have hundreds of people see their lending opportunity other than Private Money Club. Like really dive into it, not just see a Facebook post, but like really watch, which is pretty cool, right? I think that's pretty cool. Here's what I was going to cover today. If you go into Legal Corner, just some cool things. Oh, Roman needs help. Looks like he can't book a call on the system. Maybe they're booked up. I'm sure Nick will reach right out to you directly. All right, cool. So here's on the Legal Corner here, there's all these different kinds of articles and different ththings that you can read up on, how-tos and different things like that. But I always like to hop in here every once in a while to make sure if there's any new articles that Andrew Chestnut's posted. And one of the things that I thought I'd cover here today, because private money lending is great. We always make everything sound so fantastic, right? I'm guilty of that. Where else can someone make a double-digit rate of return, have it secured by real estate, right? Where else can someone borrow all the money that they need for a real estate deal without having to go to a traditional bank? But there are some things that we got to make sure that we have a good understanding of. And I love Private Money Club because they're constantly posting articles and sharing different things, like this one here that was posted about six or 7 months ago, and it just talks about understanding mortgage fraud. So I'm going to give you a little quiz here. I'm going to see how dialed in you guys are And this is just one of the things that we talk about, and then we're going to dive into our fundamental practice in our elevator pitch. All right. So it goes into understanding how someone could lose, right? What are some of the things that could go wrong? And one of the first bullet points that they talk about here is asset inflation. So for my lenders out there, asset inflation, what does that mean? Well, here the borrower embellishes their assets, right? Vying for a loan they're not genuinely eligible for. They craft a rosy financial narrative, thus making them appear more credit worthy than they are. I love helping people stay safe. Like, that's one of the things Accelerator course is designed for, helping people stay safe and just explaining what's out there and what's a red flag. So it's easy on Facebook. Like, I see so many people that are like on yachts and at the car dealership, and they're in real estate. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? How do we know, like, are we going to lend money to someone just because their Facebook profile looks like it's lifestyles of the rich and famous? Tell me in the chats. Talk to me, guys. Talk to me. What are we going to do? So I'm going to ask you, what are we going to ask for to help reduce the risk of asset inflation? What should we be asking for when we're talking to our borrowers? What should they be providing us? We want some credibility. Yeah, what provides credibility, right? What's one of the big things that I always say in the Accelerator course is inspect what you expect, right? Inspect what you expect. So how would we inspect a person's assets? Like, what do we want to see? Chris Naugle talks about this all the time. We want to see the assets, right? We want to see the assets. So we want to see the financial statements. All right. I want to see a financial statement. Do they have a personal financial statement? I love Chris says, hey, I want to see a personal guarantee. Yeah, we want to have them sign a personal guarantee, but we also want to see what they have, right? So as a real estate investor, like as a lender, if I'm lending on a fix and flip project, I want to make sure that, hey, if I'm lending you all the money to make the repairs and the purchase and things like this, and then you're going to fix it up and it's going to be worth more, what happens if there's a $20,000 foundation issue that you didn't find? What happens if you're off by $20,000? Does that person have the ability? Do they have the liquidity? Do they have the cash to go and take care of it themselves? Or is the project going to stay in limbo because they don't have any more money, right? I want to make sure the person we're lending to is who they say they are and has what they say they have, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, right? Yeah, properties under control. Oh, I love it. Kevin went next level. He said properties under their control that I can verify. I love that. I love that. All right, cool. Appraisal fraud. So in this scenario, property values are artificially boosted to secure a loan. Misrepresentation of property values can hoodwink lenders into granting loans. So in what's really common, and real estate investors, oftentimes you're like, oh, well, this is going to be worth this. Right now it's worth this. Like, there's this optimism bias lots of times that as lenders, we've got to be careful of, right? And it might not be malicious. It might not be to dupe someone or hoodwink someone. But if here's the lesson. If a real estate investor says, hey, once the property is fixed up, it's going to be worth this, inspect what we expect, right? So how would we verify this? If you live in Kansas City and the deal's in Mississippi, what do you know about Mississippi, right? So at a bare minimum, we got to get on the phone ourselves with real estate agents and brokers and say, hey, look, 123 Oak Street, if this place was all fixed up, beautiful, what do you think it could sell for? And I would call around, get some boots on the ground opinions, not just trust the real estate investor's opinion, right? So we got to inspect what we expect, all right? Identity theft. So one of the big things that we like to do, and the very first thing I teach in the Accelerator class is to align yourself as a real estate investor with a great real estate attorney. Who's going to be doing your closings? Who's going to be doing your title searches? Who's going to be drafting the documents? And I think one of the big problems that if I ever heard of a problem with a private money loan, there's usually a common denominator, and that's that there was no attorney involved. Okay, so as a lender, make sure that you're asking, hey, who are we closing with? Who's doing the title searches? Right? If you need help drafting the documents, who's going to be drafting the documents? Hopefully the real estate attorney is going to be drafting the documents. Okay, so I think that will crack down on a lot of the third bullet point here. And it's okay to ask for driver's licenses and all this stuff, right? Like inspect what you expect. If you're lending to an LLC, look at the LLC's corporate documents. Make sure the person you're talking to is on there, right? Like all of these things we can do, but just remember, inspect what you expect. And then here's a big one. I thought this was interesting. It was listed in this article because you don't hear about it that much, but it is definitely something that we talk about in our accelerator course, and that's occupancy fraud. So as many of you on this call, if you're going to be a lender, you're thinking, all right, I'm going to charge 10, 12, 15% interest on, and I'm going to make a great amount of money, but that's for commercial real estate. That's for investment purposes. And one of the things that you have to be aware of as a lender to make sure that you're not lending on what is going to be a primary residence, right? You want to make sure that what you're lending on is an investment property. There's different types of, with the Frank Dodd Act, there's all different kinds of laws around mortgages for primary residence that you don't want to fall into, right? So a horror story, a friend of a friend type of a situation, but I had a private money lender. There was a private money lender who lent on a deal, and that deal, she thought she was lending to real estate, a couple that was going to be fixing up the property. They didn't. They fixed it up, but they moved in. They made it their primary residence. They stopped paying the lender, and the lender, when she went to start the foreclosure process, was threatened with predatory lending, and then she's like, "What the heck is going on?" Right? So you want to make sure that in your paperwork and it's stated very clear the intent of the loan and things like this, right? How are you making sure that people aren't, yeah, it's totally whack, Robert, I would agree. How are you making sure that they aren't moving in and occupying the properties, right? So these are some things. So inspect what you expect, guys. These are some of the nuggets from today's lessons here. And this, if you want to read up on this more and more, there's all different kinds of articles here on the Private Money Club platform that you can dive into. But I was just going through this and I was like, you know what, these are good questions to ask. And for anyone that's like, well, if anyone gives you any if anyone gives you any flack about asking for a financial statement or, a driver's license or something, just go to the next person. You know what I'm saying? I heard someone say one time, well, if I had to do all that, I'd just go to a hard money lender. And it's like, no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. It's like it's easy, right? Remember this, guys. If you're going to be lending funds, yes, it's great. A person can make a great rate of return. If you do this right, it's an absolute beautiful thing. Where else can someone make double digits, have it secured by real estate? It's still your money. Make sure that you're making smart decisions. And if you're a borrower and you're going to be borrowing $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 from someone's IRA, the least you can do is provide a financial statement to someone. That's my opinion, right? If you're with me, say, oh yeah. If you're with me, say, oh yeah. All right, cool. So let's get into some fundamentals, guys. We practice this every single week. This is how we get great. This is like the Kobe Bryant shooting free throws every single practice, even though he was the greatest basketball player in the world, right? Private money loan, what is it? It's a loan secured by real estate, right? A loan secured by real estate. So as you start having conversations with people, remember, how can we make this a no-brainer? How can we make this relatable, right? So you see those little words down there, just like a bank. If I was a borrower, I was a real estate investor, and I was talking to somebody, let's see, take a poll real quick. How many of you know someone right now that would make a great private money lender, but they don't know it yet? I love asking this question. How many of you know someone who would make a great private money lender, but they don't know it yet? All right, cool. Lots of people. All right, cool. So this is how we introduce this. Practice the elevator pitch on these folks, right? Practice on them. So one of the things with private money loans is if no one's ever heard of the concept before, how can we quickly get them to realize what it is and how simple it is and how it all works, right? And I like to compare it to just like a bank. So I would say to someone, say, let me ask you a question. You own your house that you own now, right? Or you own the house you live in now? Yes. Okay, cool. And when you bought the property, right, did you have a stack of documents that you had to go and fill out before you could move in? They gave you the keys. They're going to say absolutely. And what you're going to tell them is that, hey, we do the same exact thing for you. So just like the bank would want us to sign a big stack of documents, you're going to have us sign a big stack of documents just like a bank, right? And you're going to start to see the light bulbs go off. Hey, did you have to get a mortgage? Yes. Did you sign a promissory note outlining the terms of the loan, essentially a contract to pay them back? Yes. Did you call your State Farm agent to get the bank listed on the insurance? Yes, we did all of those things. We do the same exact thing for you, right? Just like a bank. And you're going to start to see the light bulbs go off. Next step in the elevator is we want to show them the money, right? People are curious. Okay, this seems like a legit thing, just like a bank. I've done this before. I can relate. Have lined up an example of what you're going to pay. So in Christy and I's business, we pay anywhere from 8 to 12%. We give a range. We pay, and this is what I say, right? This is like the elevator, right? We can get more elaborate. We can go into details, but to create curiosity and to set up an appointment, have something lined up that's very quick, very easy for people to grasp. We pay anywhere from 8 to 12% annualized interest. Each loan opportunity is unique. All right. Now, the optimism bias in a person's mind where they automatically think everything's going to be perfect is going to go with 12%. Ding, 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 ding. Holy crap. Noah, you pay 12%? You're crazy. I know, I'm nuts. Why are you paying 12%? Well, and we can go into what we talked about earlier if we wanted to, right? But the idea here is have it figured out. If you're a lender and you're on this call, same thing, right? It's the same thing. Hey, Patrick, instead of paying cash for your properties, tax write-off, interest is a tax deduction anyways. Why don't you spread around some of your money, be able to do more deals? I could lend you, charge you 10% interest, right? And it's secured, just like a bank, I'm just flipping the script here a little bit, right? So you can use this on whether you're a borrower or a lender, right? And then so if I was a lender, I'd have that figured out. Yeah, we charge anywhere from 10 to 15%. Each opportunity is different. Each opportunity is unique, right? Show them the money. Now, after you show them the money, what's going to happen is it's going to be this, oh, well, is this too good to be true? Like, this is crazy. I've never heard of someone paying 12% interest on a mortgage or for a house or, this is nuts. So here's what we provide, right? Just to legitimize this, to make sure we're doing things the right way. Every single note that we do, right? We provide a promissory note. We provide you with a mortgage or deed of trust. We provide you with a personal guarantee and insurance, right? Just like a bank would want. Now, this isn't the end all be all. Remember, we're just practicing our elevator pitch here, getting people excited, getting them curious to set up a call with us, right? So there's other things that we might add. We might give them a lender's title policy as well or whatever, right? So, but just to get people going, get them fired up, we provide you with a promissory note, a mortgage, personal guarantee as well, because you're going to be lending to my LLC, but I'm going to personally guarantee that loan as well, and I'm going to list you on the insurance as the lost payee, right? So we're providing these documents. All of these documents are going to be prepared by the right business professional, and they're going to be recorded. So you're going to have a lien on the property. So I can't sell the property, I can't refinance the property without making sure that you are square and you are whole, right? And make sure that these documents are getting recorded. Anytime I've seen issues with private money loans, it's been because these 4 things weren't in place and or they were not recorded, right? So I wouldn't, if I was a lender, I wouldn't just trust my borrower to go down to the county courthouse and record this stuff themselves. I would have the real estate attorney do it, right? I'd have the title company handle everything. I'd make sure that the right business professional is getting this done. Where we live in Richland County, South Carolina, this can get recorded right away, 24 hours, it's done. And you can look it up online. Some areas, a little more rural, might take a few weeks, right? Just depends. But we're gonna inspect what we expect. So yes, this is an absolute beautiful thing. It's absolute, but we got guidelines. And for everyone that's on the call and you're brand new, I'd encourage you to take the accelerator class, continue to hop on these calls, because the more education you have, the higher your credibility is going to go. And here's where credibility really comes into play. Okay, I'm speaking to my lenders here, because for borrowers, it's like, hey, there's definitely an element of credibility needed. But from a lender's perspective, I like to see these types of things in your private money club profile. I like to see that you have a policy, a company policy, that you want a promissory note, a mortgage, personal guarantees, and insurance at a minimum, right? And I want you to have some protocols in there so that when people are messaging you, they know that you know what you are doing. Because if they can see that you know what you're doing, they're going to be, it's going to attract the right type of borrower to your profile, right? Does that make sense? You're attracting the right type of person. I would much rather work with a lender who has like this is what I want, this is what I need. Professionalism, as Mike says, absolutely, man. So credibility, and here's what happens. Lots of times on Private Money Club, if I post a deal, there might be 7 people that are interested. Now I'm looking at all those 7 different lender profiles, and I'm asking myself, okay, who have I had conversations with? Who do I have a relationship with already? And is their profile filled out? Do they have a picture? Is it like 1 or 2 sentences? Like, does it make sense? Like, if I click on their face on their profile, like, is my computer going to get a virus? or is this a real person, right? So we got to add credibility, not just as borrowers. We definitely want it as lenders because it attracts the right people, right? So here's my little system, guys. And I'm going to give you one more resource. Stay with me here. I'll give you one more resource for you guys to help you in your business stay safe. But this is what I do. So I go on Private Money Club whenever I have a deal. I can post the deal in the deal section. I can post the deal in the forum. And then what I do is I actually have people go to my website. So when they click on all the documents and everything, they can feel free to message me in Private Money Club to begin the conversation. But it's still important to me that I send them to my site because I want them to see like what it's like working with us and how we do things and things like that. So I send them to my website. From there, they can schedule time to hop on my calendar automatically. And then I have a conversation with them, right? So keep this in mind as you post things on the forum, as you post deals on the platform, make sure that your intent is not to just get the funds right away or to get the deal done right away, right? There's no rush on this. What we're selling is the opportunity to work with us. We're selling the one-on-one interview, okay? The one-on-one interview is what I would be working towards. Guys, get on the phone with someone. Get on a Zoom call with someone, right? Do things the right way and build that relationship. And then let's go in and start talking about funds and money, all right? If that makes sense, okay? All right, cool. So here, make a move. Here's the list. Here's the list. I love it. And that's to say I need an accountability partner for the accelerator program. So if you've taken the accelerator program and you'd like an accountability partner to go back, maybe watch some of the replays or something like that, like hit up Annette. Maybe I love that. Great job, Annette. Practice the fundamentals. Practice what we talked about here today, our elevator pitches. Schedule some time. Nick Lucas is in the chat. Click on the link, schedule an appointment, see how Private Money Club can help you hit your goals, right? Take action. Attend next week's call. Create your PMC profile if you don't have one yet. Sign up for the accelerator course. Take the mobile home challenge. Get in the virtual Money School Essentials 3-day virtual class. And man, let's get to Charlotte. Let's get to Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's go race some race cars and build some meaningful relationships on the track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That sounds awesome. All right, cool, guys. So there's the link there. One more resource here, and I just thought this was really cool. These guys have where are we going? These guys have spoken at Money Tank events before. They've been on Private Money Club calls before. So if you need any help, verifying you want a professional to kind of walk you through some stuff, to make sure that, people are who they are and say they are, and people, if you're looking for like a service that does like background checks and things like this is an underwriting service called Plus, Private Lender Underwriting Services, LLC. And you might have seen them on Private Money Club calls before, but if you go to plus-llc.com, I'll copy and paste it. You can learn about, this is a company that does some of these things for you, right? So if before you start working with someone, you can have that borrower be verified by this service. You can have that borrower take their documents and send it over to this service, and these guys can kind of guide you into whether they think that maybe this is a good deal or not, or maybe they can let you know something about the borrower that the borrower isn't making known to public or whatever, right? So like this is they call themselves the premier third-party private lending underwriting services. I'll put the link in the chat right now. But these are cool guys. Greg and Nirvana are the owners of the company, and I'll put the link there. And they've got some cool resources there to help verify things and stuff. But if you need help, we've got two great options. Take the accelerator class, educate yourself, learn as much as you can. It's a lot of fun. And then also we've got this company here in the background as well that can help verify things for you to make sure that you're doing things the right way and people are who they say they are. They help us inspect what we expect. So I hope you had a great call today. I went 5 minutes over, but I think it was worth it. This was a really informative class. I'm starting the August 12th class. I'm in NorCal. All right, awesome, Fern. Cool, I love it. I can't wait to see you August 12th, and I can't wait to see you in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is awesome. Yeah. Do you have any classes in Southern California or any connects? Yeah, I know lots of investor friends in Southern California. I know Chris does as well. I think if you hop in the Private Money Club platform, you can kind of see who's from that area. Maybe Mike, you make a post in the forum saying, I'm from Southern Cali, and see who responds. Maybe there's a group or something you can go hang out. But yeah, cool. All right. Awesome, guys. I will catch you next week. Same thing with Phoenix, Roman. I would get in there, say who's in the Phoenix area, love to connect. We always got boot camps and things like that going on, and the money take events. But if you click the link at privatemoneyclub.com or schedule a call with Nick, maybe Nick can tell you some future events that are coming up that might not be posted on the website. Maybe he can help you out with that too, which is cool. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna end the call. Do what you got to do, and we aloha and mahalo. All right, y'all have a great week. Happy investing. All right, bye.